Hello there, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had a great week and are raring to go for some more great writing advice to help you on your author journey. So, have you ever had this problem with your villains in your story coming across as flat and cliche? Well, if so, you're in the right place, because I will be sharing with you the worst villain tropes in fiction and how to improve them that will help you solve the problem you're having with your story. I'm going to break it down into 10 simple steps, but be sure to stay to the end because I save the best for the last. Now, you may ask, who am I to be giving you this advice? Well, I am the gray-haired writer who has had lots of life experience, along with experience of writing and publishing 2 novels, No Remorse, No Regret, and No Rest for the Vengeful, with the 3rd and 4th books in the series, No Mercy for the Guilty, and No Retreat for Justice, coming up in a couple months. So without further ado, let's hop to it, shall we? Oh, of course we shall. Here are the 10 worst villain tropes in fiction and how to improve them. Coming up with number 1, the purely evil villain. Why is this bad? Well, a villain who is evil just because they feel like it is a flat character who has no believability whatsoever. Just as no one ever snaps and goes on a crime spree, few people are rarely born evil. At some point in their formative years, they became who they are. They never wake up one morning and decide, today I am going to be evil. Okay, you ask, how then do I improve my villain? First, you must remember that the villain is the hero of their own story. They will have complex motivations for why they do what they do. They will be gaining something from it after all, otherwise why would they do it? Explore and develop their backstory and give the human side and twisted logic for why they did what they did. Number 2, the monologuing villain. This is bad because, well, it kills tension if your villain go on some long-winded speech explaining every detail as to why they do what they do. Not to mention, it often gives the hero the time they need to escape from his clutches and strike that villain down. So how to improve this, you ask? Well, remember back to my video on avoiding info dumps. You will want to strip out the motivations of the villain as you go through the story, either through the hero's investigation of the villain, or a henchman might at some point inadvertently disclose a part of the villain's reasons for doing what they do. Cheers there. Number 3, the incompetent henchman. Why is this bad? Well, a henchman, or more than one, who is useless at their jobs undermines the threat the villain poses. You improve this bad trope by making the henchmen capable or experts at their own jobs. After all, a villain who has any sense at all is going to employ people who are excellent at the tasks they have them do. If a henchman gets caught, it cannot be through incompetence, but have them fail due to being outsmarted by the hero, and the hero has to work for it. Number 4, the villain who kills their own people. Well, this is bad for obvious reason. I mean, after all, would you work for a boss who is constantly killing his own employees? Not likely. This would cause the villain's minions to quickly turn on him and either kill the main baddie themselves or go to the hero's side. You improve this by having the villain doling out punishment to maintain discipline or to strategically maintain fear. Number 5, the unstoppable villain. This is bad because if the hero has no chance to defeat the villain, it will frustrate your readers, making them believe, what's the point in the story? It could also set up what is called a Deus Ex Machina situation, where the villain hero only can defeat the villain by divine intervention. How to improve on this then? While most readers know that the hero will eventually win in the end, they want to see how the good guy gives the bad guy his comeuppance. The villain will or should have some weakness or blind spot that the protagonist can exploit to bring the story to its conclusion. But again, it must be something that has to be worked on. It worked for in order to do that. Number 6. The easily redeemed villain. You don't want this because if the villain gets forgiven too easily, it will feel unearned and cheapens the whole story. It will diminish the impact of the evil deeds that the villain committed earlier. If you want to have a redemption arc, you show it as a hard-fought process in much the same way that the hero defeating the villain will go through many trials and tribulations to take him down. It's not a sudden snap of the fingers and the villain suddenly sees the light of their bad behavior and instantly changes. No, they don't do that. The daddy or mommy issues villain. This is bad because it's another overused cliche. A tragic parental relationship might happen, but it can't be the sole cause of their villainy. In real life, a lot of people who had bad parental role models use that as a reason not to become like them. If you are going to have a character with a bad relationship with their parents, you will need to have motivations to have a more layered character. Cheers again. Water, not vodka, trust me. Number 8. The villain with no exit plan. If your baddie has the forethought and intelligence to come up with criminal plans, give them the sense to have a plan to escape should the plans fail. If you don't, they will come across as stupid. And you don't want a stupid villain. They should have thought of the Murphy's Law that whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So you improve that trope by having them come up with an exit plan, with all contingencies should something go wrong. Number 9. The villain who's nothing more than a plot device. Remember what I said earlier about how the villain is the hero of their own story? Of course you remember it, don't you? It was only a few minutes ago. Well, one who is only there to spur the hero into action is not really an inspiring character. Not that you'd want to be inspired by a villain or evil deeds, but the point is to make your character a 3D person and not be a carpenter's dream and be as flat as a board. You improve this by having their storyline intersect meaningfully with the protagonist's story. Number 10, the mustache-twirling villain. For one thing, try twirling your own mustache, and you will feel it kinda hurts. Not to mention that cartoonish villains who revel in over-the-top theatrics are outdated. Perhaps not for a children's book, but if you are writing a villain in an adult's book, you will need to dial back the histrionics. Believable bad people can be more menacing due to the twisted logic they employ to do what they do. And remember when I said at the start of the video, I would save the best for the last? Well, here is a bonus tip on the worst villain tropes, and that is mental illness as the cause of their villainy. This is bad because it's another overworn and overdone cliche that someone's mental illness causes them to do their evil deeds. Also, it's been shown that mentally ill people are more likely to be the victim of a crime than the perpetrator. Now, this is not to say that a villain can't have a mental illness. After all, someone who commits mass murder or any other evil deeds might not be mentally healthy, but you simply should not have that as the mental health problem as the cause of them committing their crimes. So, there you have it. Those are my tips on how to improve the worst villain tropes in fiction. I hope you enjoyed that video. Be sure to smack that like button, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell to be notified when each new video goes live so you don't miss any important writing advice. And if you so desire, subscribe to my newsletter where you will receive a free short story. The link is in the description. And check out my previous video on how to put your characters through hell. Have a great day and week. So long.